Hey guys, just wanted another collection video today. I'm going to start with my PS3 collection. Again, it's quite a small collection, but some killer titles in there. I didn't get a PlayStation 3 until quite a bit after the launch of it, because I had a 360 from quite early on, and it just I put off getting it because I mostly just wanted to get the exclusives. So we're gonna you'll see this is mostly exclusive. There's a few games that aren't, but we'll get into that. So let's start here with these discs here. Now this one here is a the PlayStation Move starter disc, which is basically just got a couple of demos on it there. It came with the PlayStation Move, which leads us to this game, The Shoot, which is actually the only PlayStation Move game that I own. It's more light gun shooting, which is always good fun. Very arcade style feel. Not really too much to say there. Next up we have Infamous. Now this is actually one of my favourite games that I've played on the PS3. I love the style of gameplay, the good and bad sort of consequence thing has been done to death now. In fact, even then it had really kind of been done to death. Really enjoyed this game. I enjoyed like the whole jumping around, using your powers to hit your enemies and learning new abilities as you go. It's a good fun game actually. I haven't played the second one, but I highly recommend anyone who's got a PS3 to pick this game up. Very good game. Next up we'll do Killzone 2. Now I'm not really a big fan of the single player of this. It wasn't really the Halo killer they wanted it to be, but that being said, the multiplayer is an immense amount of fun, as is the multiplayer on the third one, which I again don't have, but I've played quite a bit with friends. If you're interested and you've never played the Killzone games, I would say check out 2 first, because the first one was on the PS2 and I don't think it had multiplayer, like online multiplayer. So start with 2 and work your way to 3 maybe. Or just jumping straight in with 3 if you don't really care about the story that much. Yeah, it's a good game. Good game. Not one of my favourites, but solid game nonetheless. Next up we have FIFA 9 and 10. Both of these were given to me. I'm not a big sports game fan, or indeed a football fan. Have played them both though. To be fair, I played all the FIFA games. My friends play them a lot, and I'm usually the one left where, you know, I never get to stay on when it stays on, and I never get to stay on. So enough about that. The less we say about that, the better. Next up, we have Resistance: Fall of Man and Resistance 2. So Resistance, the first one, this was actually the second game I ever played on the PlayStation. The first one being Lair, which is a terrible game. Can't stand that game at all. This is it's a fairly decent sort of first-person shooter. It feels a bit thick and clunky at points, but there's absolutely nothing. Considering it was an early title, I think it may have been a release title actually. I'm not entirely sure, but it's a good little shooter. And the second one I have not played at all, only online. Not played the story again. Much the same as Killzone. Didn't really. It's basically more of the same, bit smoother. I never really got into either of those games. I got them very cheap together actually, that's why I bought them. They were, I think it was like £10 for the 2 together, and this was long before Resistance 3 came out. Next up we have the Prince of Persia trilogy. The first game is great, second one's not so much, the third one, pile of crap. But I picked this up because I didn't have any of them on other consoles. And I figured this would be a nice, cheap sort of way to get all 3 of the games in one go. I would say this, if you don't own 1 or 2 of these games already, I'd say this is the easiest way to pick up all of them. You get a few more, like, you get trophies with this as opposed to the others, and it is in HD, although the graphics haven't been updated. It's the same graphics, just looks a lot more smooth and all that jazz. So it's pretty good, well worth the money I paid for it. Next up we have Ratchet and Clank Tools of Destruction. I was more into my Jak and Daxter. To tell you the truth, I'm a big Jak and Daxter fan. PlayStation 2. This is more like it's more of a shooting game than a platforming game. I mean, it's got platform elements to it, obviously, but the focus is on the combat and the weapon upgrades as opposed to learning new abilities and getting to more places, bigger, further places. However, it managed to keep my attention the whole way through to the end. I even carried on playing it, a bit of the extras. I'm looking extra character skins and stuff. It's a good fun game. There isn't really too much in the way of replayability, but it's a solid sort of. It's a solid exclusive. I've never really gone into the other games in the franchise, but this is, for me, it was a nice start and a nice sort of attempt to get into the series. Now this, Heavy Rain, is my favourite game on the system, which hopefully by the end of the day would have changed, but this is my favourite game on the system as yet. Everything about this, I mean, I'm a big sort of film noir sort of fan. I'm a big movie fan, and I love those sort of films. I love like the 1940s films and stuff like that, and this is set in modern times, but it's basically the same sort of thing. It's got this whole psychological thriller sort of aspect to it, and the graphics are just insane on this game. I mean, I played this game on a standard def telly and it looked insane, and then I went on and played it on a HD TV and it looks even more incredible. It's not so much got gameplay per se. It's hard to explain really. If you haven't played it, give it a go, because the worst that can happen is you play it for 10 minutes, decide you don't like it, but you're gonna enjoy what you see at the very least. But chances are, if you give the game its chance to get through, it's a slow starting game, but if you give it its chance, it's definitely worth it. The story is excellent, sound is superb. Like what little gameplay there is actually to this game, because it's not so much. It's like an interactive story almost, but done very, very well. Obviously, this game has been. You just look it up on YouTube, look videos for it, look up video game reviews of it, and you're guaranteed to see some good reviews of this game. And you can probably pick it up relatively cheap right now. However, I will say, do not use PlayStation Move for this, because it is pointless. Just don't use a controller. Next up we got Little Big Planet. I'm not very into the whole creating levels thing. I just gave it a quick go and I created some incredibly hard levels. But I enjoyed the downloading other people's games aspect of this game. I very, very much enjoyed doing that. It didn't give really. I didn't get into the story mode, but the downloading stuff is great. The user content, there's so much user content to this, it's unreal. Give it a go, to say the least. I mean, you can probably pick this up really cheap right now, or maybe even the second one for really cheap these days. It's a good entry. It's a good exclusive for the PlayStation 3. I'll give it that much. It's very fun, but for me, it sort of weared thin very quickly because like I said, I wasn't into the whole creating stuff. So yeah, that's that game there.